Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. We've got a really awesome topic today. We're going to be talking about bloating. Bloating is something that I'm asked about constantly. It seems to be a problem that's becoming more and more common, and it seems to be an issue that everybody can relate with, and everybody understands that awful feeling of being bloated. So when you're bloated, your stomach's distended, you're gassy, you feel like you either got a burp or toot, you're in that pain, your stomach's protruding out and it just feels really uncomfortable. And it doesn't feel nice, but also it doesn't make you feel like sexy. You've got that belly sticking out and you can't really wear the clothes you want to wear. You got to undo the top button. We all kind of know that experience of feeling bloated, and it always seems to come at the worst possible times. And especially as we're getting into the warmer months and you want to be wearing the summer clothes, you really don't want that bloat. So I'm going to talk to you today about some of the reasons why you're bloated. We're going to talk about some of the things you can do to help prevent bloating. And then quickly at the end, I will talk about the Banish Bloat Challenge that we will be offering for you guys in May. So first things first, I want to just kind of chat about why you're bloated. So one of the biggest things with bloating, it actually comes down to, it's not just what you eat, which is a huge component of it, but it's about how you eat. So as a society, we're becoming more and more busy, and eating kind of takes the back burner. We're shoveling food in our mouths when we're on the go, while we're driving, while we're at work, sitting at our cubicle, typing, bite, typing, bite. We have 5 minutes to eat before we take the kids to hockey practice or basketball practice or whatever we've got to do, that we don't actually take time to eat properly. And digestion starts in the mouth. The minute that you put food into your mouth, the digestive process has started. And there's actually enzymes right in your mouth that are going to be breaking down your food. So essentially when you're eating, okay, and you're chewing, and you swallow it down and you haven't chewed it very well. So say you've got that piece of steak. Steak seems to be the one that people just kind of like mow down. And you didn't chew it well, and that steak's now in your stomach, and it's a big piece like this. Well, now your body has to break that down. It needs to break it down so it can take the amino acids, and then it can provide nutrition for your entire body. Protein especially helps with healing and repair. So if you have this big chunk, think of how much work it is for your body to actually break that piece of meat down. It's going to take significantly longer than if you were to actually chew properly. And the more time that it has, the steak has, to sit in your belly, it starts to ferment. And when that food starts to go rancid, it produces extra gas, therefore making you bloated, burpy, tooty, all those type of things. So chewing is actually one of the most important things that you can do when it comes to reducing your bloating. So essentially, and as frustrating as this can be, you want to chew until your food is almost in a liquid form. So really just taking the time, chewing it as much as possible. Basically, the smaller that you can make those food particles, the more like surface area that it has, and then the acid can come in and break that food down quicker, and that means your digestive system can take a rest. So chewing is one of the first things I tell people, that you have to make sure that you're chewing everything properly. Another reason that why people get really bloated is improper food combining. Now, if you have like the ideal digestive system and there's nothing going on with you, food combining doesn't really matter. But most people have digestive issues. So one thing that you can do to prevent the bloating is to do proper food combining. So essentially what you want to do with food combining is to eat protein and carbohydrates separately, which can be very challenging, and it's not really the most fun. But when you think about it, again, you need different enzymes to break down fat, to break down protein, and to break down carbs. And they all break down at a different time. So carbs do break down a little bit faster than protein. So again, say you're eating a turkey sandwich and you didn't chew very well, so your food's not broken down at all. And then all of a sudden it gets down into the stomach and it's like, okay, the carbs digest a little bit faster. So it's working on those carbs, and the proteins take a little bit longer. So as the body's working on the carbs, the proteins are kind of sitting in the back burner, and again, they will start to putrefy. So making like your food as simple as possible and removing those two foods together is really going to help with your digestion. Now, this doesn't mean you have to do it all the time, but if you do find that you're very bloated and quite often bloated, this is something you might want to incorporate into your routine for a couple of weeks, couple of months. And then once you've kind of started to heal that gut, then you can start combining the food together again. So something like, as much as we all enjoy like steak and potatoes on the barbecue or burgers on the barbecue in the warmer months, that can be something that's really hard on your stomach to digest. So if you want to look your best and you're going out to an event and you really don't want that bloating, keep your meals simple, keep your carbs and your protein as separate as possible when you can, and that is also going to help with the bloating. Another thing too is eating your fruit. So oftentimes when you're trying to be healthy and make smart decisions after dinner, you think, okay, I'm not going to have dessert, but I would actually really like to have some fruit. Well, fruit breaks down quicker than anything. It's basically sugar, right? So it can digest in your body in up to 30 minutes, an hour. So if you had a nice big heavy pasta dish, or you had a big piece of chicken, then you follow it with that fruit. Well, the fruit is then going to sit on top of all that food that needs hours and hours to digest. Same exact thing. It's going to putrefy in the body. It's going to create almost instant gas, that really unsettled, distended stomach look. That's going to cause that. So as much as I always encourage you guys to eat your fruit, really trying to allow a couple hours in between before you would go in for that dessert. Or if you're a fruit lover, like having fruit in the morning for breakfast, having it first and then following it maybe with your eggs and protein and things like that. So you don't really want to have fruit with your actual meals. And it's funny because a lot of the times, like, to be healthy, we'll make like a nice big salad. You know, we've got lettuce, cucumber, tomato, all that jazz. We put a nice chicken breast on top, and we've got some strawberries and blueberries. Amazing, delicious, highly nutritious. But if you have issues with digestion, that's going to throw your body into like such chaos because there's so many things that your body needs to break down. Sometimes I feel bloated after eating a salad. Yes, exactly, Lynn. So just like that. So another reason too that you feel bloated after eating a salad is that veggies can actually be really hard on your body to digest. They're incredibly healthy, yes, but if your digestive system isn't, I guess, strong enough or like repaired or fully functioning, it can have a really tough time with veggies. And actually veggies is one of the biggest things that causes bloating. So one thing that you can do with that would be to start incorporating more cooked veggies. So you don't want them to be like mushy, gross Brussels sprouts like you were forced to eat when you were a kid, but you want to steam them, slightly roast them, saute them. As soon as you start to cook and break down some of those enzymes, it's going to be a lot easier for your body to digest. So what I actually love to do with my salads is I'll like roast some asparagus, some sweet potato, cauliflower, peppers. I'll like quickly saute up some of my red onions, things like that. Then let them cool and then add them to your salad. And you can actually have like a roasted veggie salad, which is really delicious, and it's going to help with that bloating. So I get the same thing where sometimes I'll eat a salad and it really bothers me. Other times not so much. So it can kind of depend on what you're using as your base. So something like kale, again, incredibly nutritious, but it can be often hard to digest. So just kind of make note of maybe and write down some things of when you feel the bloating, and you can kind of start to get a sense of what's causing that bloating. But it is very common for salads to cause bloating. Which combo is worse, carbs and protein or carbs and fat? Carbs and fat are fine. Protein and fat are fine. It's carbs and protein together that seem to have the issues. From what I remember, is protein and fat like digest at a similar rate, so it's not so much of an issue. But it's the carbs and the protein together. And again, I'm not saying that you can't ever eat carbs and protein. I do regularly, but I definitely notice that I get bloating with that. So one of the things that you can also do to combat that is to invest in a really good quality digestive enzyme. So I've got some here. This is the brand Now, and they're called super enzymes. And you can take 1, 2, or up to 3 of these before each meal. And that's going to provide the extra enzymes in your body, because a lot of us are just depleted of specific enzymes. So this will actually help with that. So what I would recommend is this brand I really like. I'm seeing great results with it, but go to your local health food store and just talk to them about what's going on with your stomach. And they'll be able to give you a more specific enzyme for you. So somebody that maybe has gallbladder issues is going to need a different enzyme than somebody that doesn't have gallbladder issues. So I would go in and actually speak to them of what your concerns are, and then they can kind of gear you in the right direction of what enzyme would work for you. But these are incredible for helping you to digest your food. Hey, Ash. And with that said, so I did a talk a couple weeks ago about why you should add variety into your diet. And one of the things that I said was that adding variety means each food has a different enzyme profile. And if you're eating the same foods over and over and over again, like every single day you have your smoothie, and then every day for lunch you have a salad, and then every day for dinner you have chicken and roast veggies, well, your body has different enzymes for every single food that you eat. So if you're eating the same things constantly, your body doesn't actually have time to replenish the depleted enzymes, and will actually start to like burn out, and they can't keep up, which will then start to cause the bloating and can actually lead to food intolerances and allergies. So another way to help with bloating is to actually introduce and eat a big variety of food. So another reason why you should add variety. Okay, so we've talked about chewing, we talked about food combining, we've talked about digestive enzymes. And basically, just like I was saying earlier, it's just if you don't have a fully functioning digestive system, which again, a lot of us don't have, like I don't have a perfect digestive system at all. I'm a little bit more on the underactive side, which means I don't produce enough acid, which means I have trouble digesting food. So getting something like this, like I said, an enzyme is going to be like your best friend. And another thing that's going to be really helpful is probiotics. So probiotics are the good bacteria in your gut, and your gut needs that good bacteria. And if you get the imbalance of bad bacteria, it's going to also cause things like gas and bloating. So making sure that you've got probiotic supplements that you can take, as well as probiotic rich foods. So things like sauerkraut and miso will be really helpful as well to help with the bloating. Aside from speaking to a physician, are these supplements okay to take with medication that you know of? Typically enzymes are fine. However, I have to tell you that you should talk to your doctor. It's just a liability thing, but enzymes are things that are naturally reoccurring in your body. It's not the same as taking like a different type of medicine or anything like that. So enzymes typically are fine, same with probiotics. But again, I would talk to your doctor and go directly to an expert at the health food store just to kind of make sure, because there are always, sometimes medications have weird reactions with certain things. So just to be safe, I would definitely talk to somebody specifically about that issue. Next, I just kind of actually talked about that, improper gut bacteria. So just having that imbalance is going to lead to gas and bloating. So it's really, really important to get probiotics in. The brand that Ashley and I often use is we kind of go in between Renew Life or Udi's. One thing to look for with a probiotic is you want to actually have a really high amount. So there's so many probiotics out there, and I see them all the time, and they're like $9.99 for 60 probiotics, and they have 1 billion bacterium. That's not going to be enough. I have one that has 50 billion in it, and I recommend to people to get one that has 50 billion in it. One, because they're going to have more strains of bacteria, and the more strains that you can get into your body, the better. And that's why I don't think you should always stick with the same probiotic. Your body has thousands of different strains of bacteria. So if you're taking a probiotic that only has 7 strains and you're only feeding those 7 strains constantly, it's not really helping the other ones. So you really want to get a good variety, and that's why you should also incorporate foods that have probiotics. Obviously, Ashley and I don't really promote dairy, so a lot of people like to use yogurt to get their probiotics, but obviously that's not really what we're going for, and we think the bad kind of outweighs the good with that one. But there are now dairy-free, like probiotic-rich foods you can get, so like coconut kefir, coconut yogurt, cashew yogurt, almond yogurt, those type of things that you can get as well, which are really great. Is it better to get a probiotic from food or supplements? So Steph, I would go with both. Definitely go with both, because they're going to have different strands. And then that way you're just getting a nice variety, and it's going to help with your overall health. I'm obsessed with probiotics. If I'm going to recommend one supplement to people, it would be probiotics. They give you the best bang for their buck. They're not cheap. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, it's going to be about $1 to almost $2 a day when you buy them, but it is so worth it, and not just so that you're not bloated. It's going to help with your overall immune system. I got lucky and I didn't get sick once this winter, and there was a lot of sickness going around, and a big contributor to that was what I eat and everything like that, but also my probiotics and making sure that my gut health is always at its best. Okay, from there we are going to talk about some other causes that cause bloating. Dehydration is actually a big one. When you're dehydrated, you're going to think about when you have like a really salty meal. So you went out for sushi and you're like getting in the soy sauce and you've had all that salt, and then you wake up the next day and you're like swollen and like your fingers look fat and your belly's like sticking out. Making sure that you're properly hydrated is actually going to be really, really helpful for reducing your bloating. Also, allergies and intolerances. So people always think that an allergy has to be something where they have a severe reaction. You could have intolerances and allergies to foods and not even know it, because the effects can actually take days to kick in. So a lot of the times, like, you could eat, maybe it's eggs. Eggs is a very common allergen for people, and it could actually take, 24, 48 hours before you see those symptoms. So sometimes it's just something as simple as going and getting a food sensitivity test and finding out those things that are affecting your stomach. Then from there, we're going to constipation. Obviously, constipation is going to make you a lot more bloated. So keeping yourself regular. Probiotics are going to help with that. Eating foods high in fiber are going to help with that. Also making sure that you eat foods that are high in prebiotics. So you could be taking probiotics all day, every day, but if you're not actually eating the food to support those probiotics in your body, then they're actually just going to die in your intestines. So prebiotic foods are things that are really high in fiber. So lots of fruits and veggies are going to help feed the good bacteria. So you're taking the probiotic and then you're feeding the probiotic with the prebiotics. Okay? Hi, Mom. It's funny that the last two people that popped on was my brother's girlfriend, one of my best friends, and then my mom. Thanks for the support, ladies. Another thing that actually, obviously, hormonal changes. So we all seem to get bloated around that time of the month. So hormonal changes can definitely impact your bloating. Where can you get the food sensitivity tests done? My doctor said they're not accurate. Is this true? So what actually can happen with food sensitivity tests is if you eat the same food a lot, it can kind of affect the way that the scores are going to come out. So typically, like, you could go to a naturopath, they will do the food sensitivity test for you, but they will speak to you about like eliminating certain foods before you do the test, or getting you to eat certain foods before the test. I'm not exactly 100% sure of how this one works. Ashley's had it done. I know her husband's had it done. So she might be able to actually speak a little bit on that a bit more. I haven't actually had that done. But they're not always 100% accurate based on what you've been eating before. But again, the naturopath will be able to help you out with that and kind of figure out why your results went one way, and they can do other things to kind of check and make sure that everything's working out. So again, yes, they're not 100% accurate, but they are definitely more accurate than not knowing. I think it's everything. Other than digestive disorders. So if you have something like IBS, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, like those will all cause bloating, and it might not be fixed as simple as following some of these steps. So if you have like severe bloating and you find that no matter, you've tried everything, like literally you've tried all of the foods, you're gonna do the Banish the Bloat challenge that we're running in May, and you're still not seeing it go down, at that point I would go and see a naturopath or a specialist, because you might have something like IBS or another digestive disorder. Always listening and watching a super beautiful RHN. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. You always make me feel so good, April. Okay, so from there, we're going to talk about foods that can actually help to reduce your bloating. So the first one I want to talk about is apple cider vinegar. Yeah, it tastes disgusting. I'm well aware. If you've never had it before, the first time you have it, it's like I would rather take a whiskey shot, for sure, than I would take my apple cider vinegar shot. So what I actually do is basically every morning when I wake up in the morning, I boil my hot water, I get some lemon, and I put a bit of lemon juice and apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is going to help with, it's got probiotics in it, and it's just incredible for reducing inflammation and for bringing down that belly bloat. So it's the best way to start the day. Or if even instead of digestive enzymes, what you can do is you can actually take some apple cider vinegar and water and drink it just before you eat, before your meals. You can sip on it after you eat. Just in general, it's going to really help to flatten that belly. After that, we've got, and it also it basically is similar to your stomach acid. So that's how it actually helps. It helps to break down the food because of the acid in it. From there, we're going to talk about lemons. So they help reduce inflammation in the body, and they're notorious for being a diuretic. So foods that are diuretics is going to make you pee more, and it's going to help flush out all those toxins and the things that are making you bloated. So you want to eat a lot of foods that are diuretics. How much vinegar do you use? Not a lot, especially if you're new to it. I would do a full cup. Here, let me show you. I fill up a cup like this, and I'll put if you're brand new, I would do just a teaspoon with lemon juice. And what you can actually do is throw in some raw honey. That's going to sweeten it up and make it taste a lot more palatable. I typically don't add the honey because I do intermittent fasting. And in the mornings, that the honey will break the fast. So that's the only reason that I don't add it, but you totally can add it to make it taste a little bit better. Plus, honey is incredibly healthy. It's antibacterial, anti-fungal, and it's just going to be great for you. So feel free to add that. Peppermint tea, which I am actually sipping on right now. Peppermint or chamomile tea are great for soothing the digestive tract. They actually help the muscles and everything just kind of relax, and they'll just help take down that bloating as well. Okay, moving on. Now we've got cucumbers. Obvious, they're very high in water, and hydration is key for reducing your bloating. So eating lots of cucumber. I love, actually a combination that I do for bloating is I get one big jug, like a pitcher, fill it with filtered water. I'll add in a half a cucumber sliced, maybe a whole lemon sliced up, and some mint leaves. And I just let it sit in there. And I remember finding this recipe. I was probably 18. This was before I was even into nutrition. And it was in one of the magazines that I read. And it was called Sassy Water. I can't remember the name of the magazine. It was 17 or something like that. But it actually is really good for helping to reduce the bloating. So you can make it the night before if you really want it to get more flavorful. And then drink it all through the next day. And it really does hydrate and take the bloating down a lot. From there, we've got cucumbers I've talked about. Bananas are actually really good for reducing bloating. They're really high in fiber. And like I said earlier, constipation is going to make you look more bloated. So you want to eat foods that are high in fiber to keep you more regular. So banana's a great one. Avocado would be a great one. And they also, because of the high potassium levels that are in bananas, they're going to help prevent the H2O. They're going to help prevent water retention and just regulating your sodium levels and your electrolyte levels. So that will help. As soon as you get dehydrated, bloating is going to start. Asparagus, it's also another diuretic food. It's kind of known as the anti-bloating superfood. And it's great for flushing out those toxins and just kind of giving the body a quick cleanse. And it also is high in soluble and insoluble fiber, which promotes overall healthy digestive system. You're welcome. And ginger. Ginger's incredible. So same type of thing. You can just take a chunk of ginger, steep some water, and let it sit and have a nice ginger tea. And I also forgot, I do add the ginger into that sassy water that I was talking about. So I do cucumber, ginger, lemon, and mint. And it doesn't matter how much. If you don't have one of them on hand, you can do just lemon, you can do just cucumber. But the 4 of them is obviously the best bang for your buck, but any of them is going to be helpful. And from there, we've got ginger I talked about. And then, peppermint tea, like I just said. It's going to help relax the GI tract, and it's going to give some relief from gas. And then just foods that are high in water. So think of things like watermelon and melons, and just foods that are lettuces that are high in water is going to help with your bloating. One of the things, though, that I would mention is avoiding cruciferous vegetables if you really struggle with bloating, especially when they're raw. So Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, those can really be bad for bloating. So one way to reduce it would be to either cook it or just avoid it. If you know you've got a night out on the town and you want to look good, I just wouldn't eat it that day. I love fresh ginger, lemon, and honey in hot water. Yes, that's an amazing thing to have before bed. It's going to help to settle your stomach. And one really key thing too is to not eat before you go to bed. So ideally, you would have your last meal or snack 3 hours before you go to sleep, because your digestive system needs time to repair. And if you go to bed with a full stomach and then you're just laying there, you're not really doing anything to burn or to burn the calories or to spark the digestive fire. So it's just kind of going to sit there. And then you're going to wake up in the morning and you're still going to be bloated and you're going to have a tummy ache and you might feel a little bit nauseous. So do your best to not eat before bed. Obviously, if your schedule doesn't allow it and you're a person that works out at night and you got to eat, I get it. I teach pound every Monday night and I get home about 9 and I need to eat because I just worked out. So one thing that would be good for something like that is to have something a little bit lighter but higher in the protein and lower in the carbs. So a protein smoothie or something like that, or chia seed pudding, or even an apple with almond butter would be fine as well. You just don't want to have something try not to do toast or pasta or anything like that before bed. Can brown rice ever cause bloating? I'm trying to cut out gluten and sub brown rice, but sometimes I'm still bloated after. Anything can cause bloating on anyone. It all depends on your digestive system and how it works. So if you find that you feel like it's making you bloated, get rid of it for a while, and then reintroduce it. Even if you get rid of it for a month, try it again and see how it makes you feel. And if you feel bloated, that's probably your answer. But it's all random. It all depends on your individual body. Some things will bloat me that won't bloat somebody else. So that's an individual thing. Okay, so I think that's kind of what I wanted to cover with bloating with you guys. If you have any other questions, please send them my way. Now I want to spend some time talking to you about the 7-day Banish the Bloat challenge that we have. So Ashley and I are so beyond excited to do this. We're really excited about the changes that we made. So we decided to make it a 7-day instead of the 10-day. It is going to be a little bit, I don't want to use the word strict, but it's going to be a little bit, I guess, slightly more intense in the sense that last time I think we were a little bit too nice. And we just wanted everybody to feel like encouraged and kind of doing that hand holding and like, yay for trying. And that is incredible. And everybody had amazing results. But we want to really just kind of like get that full detox, really give your body a break. We really want you to actually follow the recipes that we've provided for the most part. Of course, there's some modifications that can be made, and there are notes under there for modifications for you guys. But last time, we had people posting different recipes and saying, can I eat chili? Can I make a taco salad? And we really like put a lot of time and energy and effort into coming up with the perfect meal plan. So for ideal results, you're going to want to follow it as closely as possible. But again, of course, there's modifications that are going to need to be made. So the last day to sign up for this is going to be May 3rd. There is going to be no exceptions this time. Ashley is like the sweetest person on the whole planet. And in the previous times, people would say, oh, I missed the date. Can you send it to me? Well, realistically, if that happens with multiple people, she has to go in and individually mail each single email. Okay. So it's a lot of time on her part. And Ashley and my goal are, our goals are to help as many women as possible. And we can't do that if we're kind of doing silly, tedious things, like sending out plans after the deadline. So you have until May 3rd at midnight. And I'm being firm on this one because I've got Ashley's back and I get protective of my girl, and I want to make sure that she's not spending her precious time sending out emails that didn't need to be sent out. So I'm being a little bitchy with that one. So make sure to sign up by May 3rd. And then you'll get you will get an email whenever you sign up. Okay. And it's going to just tell you that, like, thank you for signing up, yada, yada, yada. But then on May 4th, Friday the May 4th, whatever. That's when you'll get your first email. I believe the meal plan will be on that one. So you have the whole weekend to prep. We're really excited because this time we're going to be including a grocery list, which is huge. And we're also, all the food has pictures, which is really, really exciting. We struggled for a long time. We always wanted to include photos of everything because it's nice to see what you're making. Just like when you buy a recipe book, like I always want to make the recipes that I can actually see the picture. So you'll be getting full pictures. You'll be getting a grocery list. You'll be getting, like I said, notes where you can figure out some of your substitutions and things like that. We've got tons of amazing snacks on there. Like there's ice cream, there's chocolate pudding, there is popsicles, just so many delicious, delicious things. I'm so excited for you guys to try it. So May 3rd, sign up. If you're looking to sign up, you can actually, if you're watching this, that means you're on the Royally Fit page. So the link is up there. It's a big, under the big banner that says Banish the Bloat, there's a link that says sign up here. Or you can go on my Instagram or Ashley's Instagram and you can sign up in our bio. I don't know if Ashley's still watching, but I want to know if we've got more signups today. So we were pretty pumped because yesterday we barely even announced it. It wasn't even our full announcement. And we had like over 300 people sign up in less than 24 hours. So we're ecstatic about that. So we want you guys to be joining us as well. Please let me know if you have any questions about this. Ashley will be doing a Facebook Live this Thursday as well, and she'll be touching on it a little bit too. So this is kind of our big thing right now, is the 7-day Banish the Bloat challenge is the perfect thing to start spring, to give your body that detox. Doing detoxes in the spring and in the fall is actually the ideal times to do your body, spring cleaning. And it's just best seasonally to do that. So sometimes cleansing in the winter can actually be really hard on your body because your body needs those warming foods, and you shouldn't be actually eating a lot of cold foods in those months. So now that the weather is getting a little bit warmer, we can kind of lean into those cooler foods. Our body's going to be ready for it, and it's going to detoxify you like crazy. The bloating's going to be gone. Your energy's going to be up. You will lose weight. If you're trying to lose weight, you will lose weight. For those of you that are not wanting to lose weight, but you want to banish the bloat, we do have options for you to add calories on. And same, we get this asked a lot about pregnant or women that are breastfeeding. Yes, women that are breastfeeding can do this challenge. Just make sure that you are including all the snacks that you're eating whenever you're hungry, and that you're doing some of the calorie add-ons. So for example, there's a zucchini pasta dish. You would actually add in like actual pasta, like a gluten-free pasta or quinoa or something like that, to give you some extra calories and some extra carbs. So we will be going light on carbs for this. Obviously, you guys know by now that Ashley and I don't promote a low carb diet, but it is important when you're trying to give your body a break to do some great digestion. So doing it like this for a week is going to be fantastic for your body. Thank you so much for the grocery list. That's awesome. Yeah, so the only thing I will say about the grocery list is that you still will want to customize it. Because it's basically giving you a list and the amounts for if you were to make every single thing on the meal plan, where we incorporated like 10 different snacks. You probably aren't going to want all 10 snacks for the 7 days, right? So you would actually want to just go in and modify the amounts of things that you want. And it also depends on if you're making the meal, if you're doing this like by yourself, if you're including the family, if you've got like you and a friend are bundling up and going to share recipes. So that you'll want to modify yourself. But everything else I think is good to go. I'm really, really excited about this one. I think you girls are going to love the recipes. You're going to see incredible success. So please, please, please share this. Ashley and I want to help as many women as we can possibly help. And we want you to feel fantastic for spring. We want you to feel confident and to just feel good in your own skin. It's, it's not about being skinny at all. It's about feeling good. And when you're bloated, you don't feel good, and it's going to make you foggy. It's going to make you question, so many things about yourself, and we just made you feel confident and great. So thank you guys for watching. I so appreciate you tuning in every Tuesday with me. Next week, I believe I'm going to be talking about foods to boost your metabolism. So it'll be very interesting as well. So make sure you tune in for that, and you tune into Ashley's on Thursday, and that you get signed up for the 7-day Banish the Bloat Challenge. Have a fantastic night, guys. Thank you so much. We'll chat soon.